All right, we're going live.
All right.
Are we there yet? Are we on?
That probably means that we're on.
Yeah, that probably means we're on.
Got a bunch of people in the chat already, so that's really good.
Yay!
All right, brilliant.
Oh, hey, are we on yet? Oh, hello. I think we're there.
I'm still trying to work out if that's you I hear live, Shey, or if that's still the YouTube that I haven't muted, but I have muted it. So that does mean that we are that does mean that we are in fact on. So welcome everyone, and welcome to today's session of 9 out of 10 testers. Do you find it easy to believe that Jesus is a white man but a mermaid would be black? Do you find it easy to believe that Doctor Who has a time-bending screwdriver, but not that they would be a woman? Well, in that case, stay tuned, because we are going to try and change your mind. But first, let's introduce ourselves. Shey, you can start.
Hi, I'm Shey. I am a Senior Quality Engineering Manager for EasyJet. And yeah, woohoo, I'm a time god.
So you are. Do you have the screwdriver like Doctor Who?
It's somewhere around. Let's not go there.
It's at the back of the toolbox.
Yeah, let's go on to Hanna.
Yes, hello, I'm Hanna, and I work as a quality catalyst at Devoteam Creative Tech, however, on maternity leave currently, but of course not maternity leave from this, because can't skip these lovely people for that one.
This is more important than work.
Yeah, not more important than the baby, but I have someone watching out, so it's okay.
Nice. All right, Sanne.
Hi, I'm Sanne, and this day at the office, and I can see my camera glitching, so I'm really distracted right now.
All right, well, take it easy. We'll just waffle the hour. Chris.
Hello, I'm Chris. I'm just started a new job. Hooray! I'm working for a company called Qualitest, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm in Wales, and I love seeing all of your lovely faces.
I also love seeing all of your lovely faces. My name is Veerle, and I used to be a tester for Dutch Railways, and now I'm a Scrum Master for Dutch Railways, and I'm gonna have to say I might prefer it. But let's not start on a even more controversial topic than today's topic of wokeness. Why are we even talking about this? Who wants to have a little go at explaining?
We had a lovely experience when we were all together at Eurostar. I think we have to mention how this happened. We were sitting in the audience, enjoying the end of a lovely keynote.
Really good one.
Someone put up a comment, and the comment said, if Eurostar goes woke, then Eurostar will go broke. And I think our reaction was like, what?
Oh my God. Oh, what's up?
I was really angry. I got really wound up by it. I said on our Slack channel that we use for 9 out of 10 testers organization things, I said, I am so mentioning that in the session.
This was just before we did our session at Eurostar. Thank you, Eurostar, for having us. Love you, though.
Yeah, and thank you, Woke Complainer, for giving us like some fuel for actually what was a really good session. I think.
Yeah.
We're so fired up just because of that one fucked up comment.
Yeah.
Found straight into that session.
All right, okay, so I'm gonna do a nice little experiment, because we're gonna go into like what even is woke, what even is wokeness, why do people get so riled up by the word? So before we get into that, I would like to do an experiment. That person who said Eurostar go woke, go broke, what do you think specifically they were offended by at this edition of Eurostar? Because there's a few contenders, I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the keynote, or Anne-Marie Sherritt, she mentioned using meditation as like a practice that she used to sort of help her with test leadership and stay in control. On the other hand, the day before, we'd had a lovely keynote about the security of sex toys. That might have been what offended them.
Are sex toys woke? Are sex toys feminist?
I don't know.
I think it was because there were a lot of talks about that contained content about their emotions. So Soren did one about his about the way his mind works. Sophie did one about bro culture. Sanne, you did one about the bees.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people felt that it was a bit too touchy-feely for them, and therefore they decided to put the whole thing up into the woke.
You know what? What I thought the problem was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here we go.
We're gonna say the same thing. I heard a lot of people moaning about the food because they had
the vegetarian food.
Yeah, they had like a default vegetarian buffet, which I thought was amazing because I'm one of those people, like I feel like I shouldn't eat meat, but I kind of love it too much. And so when there's a meat option, I have to like really, really struggle to go for the veggie option. Where everything is vegetarian, I'm like, amazing, no dilemma for me, this is perfect. But I feel like a lot of people would have bet maybe not.
Yeah, there's also that aspect.
No, right? What they were complaining about.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Because it was said anonymously. I mean, for fuck's sake, if you're going to make a statement, people, own it. Come on. I mean, that's one of the little things about Slido, which is both good and bad. If you have a problem with the
explain Slido for people who've never been to Eurostar.
Okay, Slido is actually quite a good little tool that you can stream onto a screen behind a speaker with questions and comments in real time. That you can choose to have your name put up in lights there, or you can just do a shit emoji and do it anonymously, or you can make this woke comment and do it anonymously, or you can make a comment about chat fucking GPT and do it anonymously. Oh my God.
Every single talk, somebody did that. I know that was another annoyance, but we're not here to talk about that today. Hanna, I think you had a lot of people complain about your company going entirely vegetarian. Did they complain anonymously?
Oh, no. They were very outspoken. To be fair, it was vegetarian default, so you could still get meat. It's just that you had to check a box, which is like, honestly, people, that's not that bloody hard to do if you really want your meat. But oh my God, you can get really annoyed about it.
Wow.
Amazing. All right. So talking about wokeness today, we'll touch a little on, do we have any right to be talking about wokeness? What the hell is wokeness? What are we even talking about? And why do people get so riled up? Nobody wants to touch this.
I know. It's one of those things where, as you touched upon it there, is do we have a right to talk about it? Are we allowed? Am I going to step forwards into something being a white heterosexual male and all of a sudden cause a hoo-ha? It's a little bit about the political correctness that has sort of, well, people see that the world is becoming so politically correct, man, that I don't feel that I fit in it anymore, and that means everybody's gone woke. It's like they've woke, man, and it's like, guys, I see it as people sort of almost becoming human, realizing that, hey, look, around us, we all have to be a little bit better. We all have to be a little bit better to each other. We all have to be a bit more tolerant, Dave goes onto Facebook and makes a complaint. No, Dave should just fuck off and go away. It's that kind of stuff, man. That's kind of a little bit of my view on wokeness.
Yeah, we got a pretty interesting. Sorry, just moderating right over you. We got a pretty interesting comment I felt on the 9 out of 10 testers LinkedIn post about this, where we said like we're going to be talking about wokeness, and one person said, I feel like wokeness is actually against progress because like it takes things over the top and it just riles people up and like people won't be so willing to listen anymore. And I felt that was quite interesting.
It comes from a weird place, doesn't it? Because I think if we talk about it as like a liberal, inclusive thing, which I think a lot of people will look at that, and let's face it, inclusiveness isn't a bad thing, but it's kind of got twisted where people now think that they are being excluded, which is like counter, and they're painting inclusivity as a negative thing because they are now excluded from being inclusive or something like that. I can see where people get this perspective where they go, oh, suddenly my opinion isn't valid or my context isn't, and it's difficult because I've got family members who struggle on both sides of the family, where we're talking about politics or sexuality or pay equality or any of these pieces. People have got backgrounds and opinions and biases, and we're all really, really rubbish in our own brains at what we immediately think of when we see something or we're confronted with something. And I guess for me, the whole thing about wokeness is humility and just going, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to try and find out.
Can I slip in the definition
do
here?
it,
because
please.
you just actually hit on like sort of the second part of the definition. Wokeness is also about wanting and needing to search out knowledge and understanding to challenge injustice. And wokeness basically is defined as a state of being aware of especially social problems that cause inequality, things such as racism, sexism, I guess unsustainability. Anyway, the things that are unjust or unequal. And that's the definition of wokeness. And part of that definition is wanting to understand it and challenge it, which is exactly what you were just saying, Chris. But it's almost become defined by the people that think that it's not a good thing. Like the anti-wokeness is almost more of a definition than the woke people.
Weird how that works.
We got some good comments on it as well.
Yeah, I like Nadia saying woke is also to be aware of your own biases.
Oh yeah.
So I guess a lot of it is about awareness. And so then when you start talking about that, I guess you start to learn that a lot of people find that awareness difficult, painful, unwanted, maybe feared the changes that this awareness might bring, which is understandable, but also not very constructive, I feel.
No.
Yeah, but it's fair. I mean, I understand the frustration with it to the point that it is uncomfortable. Like you just said, Veerle, you are a meat lover for sure. Like if we give you a meat option, you would love to eat the meat. Like it is something that per definition, if we want to challenge it, does actually cost us. Like it is not an inexpensive option. It is definitely both discomfort causing as well as actual monetarily sometimes not being beneficial, but because it is equity or it is equality, it's still better for us to want it. It's just not necessarily comfortable.
So I would like to introduce a little thingy here. You know how we're talking about sustainability. And so there's this idea of, okay, if you go for like Eurostar did, if you have like a default vegetarian or a completely vegetarian buffet, then that is sort of like a step into the right direction. So that's kind of like progress. And then I feel like the anti-woke crowd sort of sits in the middle. So you can go backwards. So you can like buy shares in Shell and like deliberately harm the planet, which is like going backwards. And then I feel like a lot of the anti-woke people are in the middle. So they're like, I don't necessarily want to harm anyone. I just definitely don't want to make that progress either. But I feel like, I feel like when I read about this sort of stuff, the general tendency is to say, like, being neutral is not enough. It's not enough to not be racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yeah.
It's not enough to say, oh yeah, sure, gays can get married as long as they don't shove it down my throat. Like, no. That's not how this thing works.
Come on.
Well, to be fair to like the big group in the middle that is sort of like, I don't know what to do with this. And if I'm not racist, isn't that enough? Do I really have to be as passionate about anti-racist? I kind of think about like a lot of the rants people have, for instance, for veganists and for people who love yoga or meditation or have just discovered mindfulness or journaling. Like, we all know how annoying completely obsessed people can be with their one particular thing. And I think there is an element to that there is a level of sort of almost militantly defending the anti-racism, which I'm not opposed to, but can understand why the group that's a bit more middle leaning can get very annoyed by us woke folks, because we are very much evangelical.
I love it how you say us woke folks. So let's apply this to tech, because we're all working in tech. how can we try and get more people on board? I did promise at the start that we were going to do that this session. So how can we try and get the anti-woke crowd or the people in the middle? How can we get them on board a little bit more?
Take a vuvuzela, stick it in their ear, and go, "Fucking get with the program."
Well, if you want to be sort of abstracted, like we work in an industry that is striving for continuous improvement. We are here trying to find solutions to problems. That's kind of the existence of software engineering and quality and all of those things. What could be better than advocating for more people and improving those things and using our stage and our platform and our privilege to be here today to be able to bring everyone else along on that crowd and make things better? What's the argument against that?
I think part of it is sharing some common experiences or like pointing out to people where it might be personally affecting their teams or themselves, and the other side of it is, I mean, people are voting with their feet. I mean, honestly, who's going to go and work for a company, for instance, a meat factory that has unethical slaughtering processes? Like, are you going to go improve their CRM processes for them as a tester? I think people will vote, maybe no. Maybe that's not an assignment I'll take. I don't care about billability. I'm just not going to go work there, period.
There is that, but then they it's the sort of they know not what they are doing wrong kind of aspect, isn't it? If nobody goes there and points them out what they're doing out to them, then no change will happen. And I think that's an interesting one. So my thought on Chris's question is what we do as actively as we can at conferences and meetups and stuff is pack manning, and for those of you who don't know, pack manning is when you're standing in a group that's all together. You open it up and it sort of looks like a little Pac-Man, so you bring people in, and then you from my point of view, respectfully challenge their biases. Yeah. And the word respect is I use capital R there because we've moved on. We've gone on a journey, or we are on a journey towards wokeness. Okay, I'm going to say that towards that way, but other people are not, and it's harsh for us to assume that everybody is on that journey with us already, or on that journey already. So if somebody is showing a little bit of an objectionable opinion, respectfully pointing out that this is an opinion that is offensive, I think is one of the best ways to perhaps start them on that journey where they go, yeah, I am the arsehole.
I feel like this is a really good moment to talk a little bit about privilege, because I think what is super important is I think we are all in a position of privilege. We are all white, cis. We do have a level of privilege that a lot of other people don't have. And I feel like it is super important for us to use that privilege for good. So to use that privilege not to further our own goals, but like to put it to use for the community. So when you're talking about like respectfully challenging others, I think it is super important that we, from our position of privilege, do that. Because if you are already on the fence, if you are maybe already a little bit racist, a little bit sexist, a little bit transphobe, then you're probably not going to be very open to having your IDs changed from the person that you essentially fear or hate. So I feel like with all of the privilege we have a moral obligation to find that into someone's opinion.
And can I talk about eye rolling though? Because that is such a frequent response to this kind of advocacy. I completely agree. Use that privilege. We're not only just white and in a first world country, we are also well educated. We are currently all employed, all brilliant things. We're not worried about where our next meal is coming from. And yesterday we were doing a brainstorm. There's a group of people, and somehow the king of the hill concept came up. And I immediately challenged. It's like, look, I'm not a fucking king of any hill. Can you please just put royal on the hill? Like, we still understand the metaphor and we're fine, you know, like, and like half the people in the group rolled their eyes at me. Like, are we really going there?
Yeah.
And I just went straight in. I was like, yeah, we are going there because I'm not note-taking this. I will change it now. And then immediate acceptance. Like, you do get the eye roll though, but I'm kind of okay with dealing with that level of frustration.
Sometimes goes beyond the eye roll, doesn't it? Like there's a tweet that I saw a good 3.5 years ago now, but I managed to capture it before it disappeared. And it said, my therapist once told me that the only people who get upset when you set boundaries are the people who benefit from having none. And I've really been paying attention to that lately, because God, is it the truest thing I've ever been told?
Yeah.
And that's privilege, right? If boundaries aren't set because people benefit from that, that's right there.
I know.
I'll drop the text into the chat, because the tweet
Oh,
no longer.
do.
No, the tweet's now private, so I can't say that.
Yeah.
That, you know, that's when you think of sort of you know, I'm a parent of 2 children, and you know, children without until you set boundaries for them, they go off and they'll you know, crap in their pants and put it all over your lovely widescreen TV until they know that that's not the right thing to be doing while daddy's watching the tennis, you know, that kind of stuff. And you know, there is that aspect of people who don't know that there is what you're doing is unacceptable to the people who are around you. Please, can you change? Then they won't, you know. And I'm being very careful with my language here, because it's easy for me to go, fuck's sake, you're a racist, go and fucking sort it out, or something like that. But that's me sort of really hammering home my biases towards you. You may not even realize it. And this is where the sort of wokeness, I guess, argument or wokeness discussion is really, really a minefield, is because you don't know where I'm coming from. I don't know where you're coming from. So we kind of have to tiptoe around each other to try and figure out that ground. And yeah, I come back to respect.
I have a story time, a small one.
Yeah,
yes.
Story time.
I was actually going to suggest maybe a story time to lighten up.
Story time jingle, people. We'll fix it.
We recently reshuffled the organization a bit and have a big testing department again, but that also meant new name, new brand, new everything. And we are very fortunate to have a very specialized accessibility testing, accessibility, everything person on our team. So she made sure that our new PowerPoint templates would be on point, with contrast, with color, that we would be completely compliant to all of the WCAG norms. I'm not sure, well, she's the expert. So, but she made us fully compliant, and we launched straight into our first month in June, and got feedback from a visually impaired colleague that he could not read our slides.
No.
So despite having done all this work and spent all this money on our brand, we're confronted by the fact that there was one person in our organization who could not read our template. So here's what we did. We redesigned the fucking thing. And we got challenged on this by management. It's like, there's one person in 200 that can't read your shit. Do you really have to spend this money again? And we're like, yes, yeah. We do.
Absolutely.
The end.
Yeah.
Nice.
No discussion. Like, of course we will. Like, it's not like we can't read it any better because it's now been changed, but we have now included somebody that before was really struggling. And how is that not worth using our privileged position for? Like that, who loses in that thing? Well, companies lost a bit of money, but I figure, hell, we got money.
But yeah, of course we need to care about the employees as well. So yeah. I mean,
what weight of employees is enough to make the change? Is it 1? Is it 10? Is it 100?
But Deborah is making a really good point in the comments where she says there might have been more who struggled but didn't raise it, and that is true. And I feel like this whole wokeness thing, like I keep putting it into fucking air quotes because I feel like it's not a good word, but I feel like, let's say, the struggle for social justice is super important, and it's important to make it visible, because there might indeed be a lot of people who are not raising the issue because they have been dismissed so many times, they have been ignored, they have been belittled. And I do feel like once you have been belittled enough times, you're not going to raise it anymore. Whereas if we
It's draining, isn't it?
Yeah, like if
Yeah,
we make this
draining.
visible, if we show people, listen, there are people out here who do care about these topics, then hopefully, maybe people will feel more comfortable and people will feel empowered to raise these issues.
And it's the curb cut effect in essence that you facilitate with this, because indeed making these adjustments might have made it more readable for even more people who didn't raise it. Curb cut effect is essentially the little cuts in pavements where wheelchair people can get up and down easier, but they benefit so many other groups of people. They benefit people with pushing prams, they benefit anyone that's pulling a trolley with wheels, and now they're also used by these robots that do deliveries. So the curb cut effect is like where you design systems to be inclusive, to not leave anybody behind. You generally tend to benefit the whole community and the whole society. And it's so true for teams as well. Like if you design for the teams to be inclusive, how is that ever going to negatively affect anybody? I mean, come on.
It reminds me of what our friend Stu Crocker says, which is, quality is the removal of unnecessary friction. People might be able to get by and survive, but why would you not try and improve and make those things better to help other people?
And we come back to the change thing, isn't it? The people who are afraid of change are possibly the people who are shouting the loudest about everybody being woke. It's you're shouting, it's the yappy dog, isn't it? The yappy dog is the one that make run around. If I run around so fast, they won't realize that I'm nothing. And and I realize maybe I'm doing that right now. Stopping everybody.
Isn't that what we all do every month?
It is, but there is that aspect. It's the person who shouts loudest people pay attention to. So if you're saying, "Hey, I'm saying," well, there's no room for any other thing to be said. So they're just sort of hiding behind their insecurities, perhaps. I don't want to change, so I'm just going to keep on talking so I don't have to be challenged and therefore change. And I'll be honest with you, I have a real aversity in my personal life to change. I find it so difficult. Testing, holy shit, testing, transformation projects, everything like that. I live and breathe that at work. And do you think I can change my shit at home? No. I've got a fucking dowel that's been there for 6 damn months and I haven't even used it. Okay. So I find change difficult, but I have to sort of go, right, step out of your comfort zone and try and make that one step. And if you take one step, your comfort zone becomes that's where you are step now. And if you take another step, that'll become your comfort zone. It'll feel difficult when you at the first step, might be a bit pointy underneath, but you'll get there and it'll start feeling comfort. And you'll look back and you'll see all of a sudden there's this massive, massive journey behind you that you don't even know you've taken because all you've done is one step at a time.
And to the point of the people in the chat and the people at Eurostar, if that means we fucking go broke, I mean, hell yes, then you don't deserve to make any money. Like, then that's the end of the line there. Like, just fucking go broke. Dude, we don't do as a company, as a team, if this is the way you're gonna go. Like, let's be okay with these things exiting as much as it is uncomfortable to change. If you can't, fine. Please die out. It's okay. We won't miss you.
Can I? All right. Okay. Can I do a tiny little story time?
Zero story time.
Okay. I'm gonna have to introduce a little bit of cultural context, but it doesn't matter. It was my niece's birthday recently, and so I went over and I stayed over for dinner. And my brother and my sister-in-law cook a lot of vegetarian food, which I'm super behind. Like, I'm really on board with this. And so they live in Nijmegen, which is a city in the Netherlands that is like quite well known for being like quite lefty, progressive. And so we were at the supermarket. I went and did the shopping with my brother. They had such a big selection of fake meats, basically, of like meat replacements. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Look at how many you've got. You've got so many options. So we started talking about that, about like the meat substitutes and whether they're good or not. And I said something about like how the meat industry is losing its shit because like you're not allowed to call it like fake chicken anymore. Like, you have to come up with a completely new name. You can't say oat milk because like milk is dairy. You have to say oat drink or like oat, I don't know. And so we're talking about that, and he mentioned that like one of the products they always get, one of the sort of like meat substitutes for sandwiches, he says is made by Gips, which Sanne is going to know, is basically the leading producer of like a very specific type of sausage that we've got in the Netherlands. And so basically they make the best meat version. They also make the best vegetarian version. And so we're talking about this, like they did it the smart way, because you can fucking flip your shit. You can throw a tantrum and say, you're not allowed to call meat substitutes meat because they're not meat. And the customer will be confused. Who will think, clutching your pearls, who will think of the customer? Rather than doing that, you can also say, it appears that there is a change in demand. The market has shifted. Let's see if we can adjust to that. They have adjusted and they're making fucking wads of cash. And so I'm like, when people say go woke, go broke, I'm like, you don't understand how capitalism works.
Yeah.
And like, I'm the first person to say I fucking hate capitalism, but at least, please, can we all agree that if there is a growing demand for wokeness, for progress, for social justice, then by selling that, you're going to make more money, not less.
Yeah, but also like, let's give grace to the companies that are big like mine that are trying to change and that just take fucking forever to.
Yeah, okay, maybe struggling a little.
I roll.
Like, intention truly does matter in this. Like, even if you are still producing sausages, if you are wanting to change and you are working on the change, all credit to you. Live with the discomfort, have the shift, and it will give you the grace to shift. Like, that's fine. But if you have no intention of being these social justice champions,
or if you're doing something even worse and you are woke washing, you are greenwashing, you
Oh,
are rainbow washing. Let's talk about that.
God. Oh my God! Trigger alert! Trigger alert!
Who's gonna define
Bloody
it?
hell!
What is woke washing? Somebody. Go on.
Hanna, go and have a shot.
Oh, mate.
Oh, nah, I don't have a good definition on that, so someone else take it.
It's okay. I'll have a go because green. Okay. So greenwashing is running around trying to make all these initiatives to well, it's to be the yappy dog, isn't it? We're doing so much green shit over here. Don't worry about the rainforest. We're pay attention to this hand. Nothing happening over here. Woke washing is the same. Hey, bro, we're so fucking there. We're great. We've got all the. We are
Twitter icons with rainbows for 1 month a year.
Rainbows in our that we've managed to overlay our corporate logo onto a rainbow, so we're fucking amazing. And
only in certain markets.
Yes, only
it's all those companies who will post stuff about empowering all their amazing women employees on International Women's Day, and they've got a pay gap the size of the Mariana Trench.
Yeah. And currently going through a class action lawsuit from half the women in the in the business because of the pay gaps. Yeah.
I find that possibly more harmful than just not even playing the game.
Look, say you're trying. Say, listen, I put a lot of weight on somebody who says, listen, I'm not there yet, but I'm trying. A little very small story time, which I think is a little bit relevant. A friend of mine, they I don't know how to describe them within the LGBTQ space, but they them, okay? And I spent a lot of time trying to refer to that person as they and them in conversations, and then I used either a he or she. I'm not going to I'm
not going to make a mistake
conversation, and because I haven't asked their permission to tell the story, and I used that in a conversation where they were present, and after the conversation, I went, oh geez, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry I got that incorrect. And they went, listen, it's the one thing I really appreciate here is that you recognize it and you're going to try and do better. And so I put a lot of stead in somebody who goes, listen, I'm not there yet, but I'm on the journey and I'm trying. you know. And if a company goes, listen, God, we know we're not there yet, but these are the steps we're trying to do, and then they carry them out, and they can talk about that later, mate. You're doing all right in my books.
Dare I say it's something that you could even take from a Scrum playbook. Empiricism, you inspect, adapt, and transparency, right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
You change based on evidence of things that have gone on, and you're transparent about it. And if we are humble enough to sort of come forward and go, I don't know all the things, but I'm willing to make changes based on evidence and to be transparent about it. That's much better than doing like, hey, look, we're this thing this month here, and let's talk about mental health in May and all these other things. But for the rest of the year, business as usual. It's not good enough. Whereas if you're a bit more humble and open about these things in your practices, the way you pay people and the way you recruit people and all of these other things, your ethical stuff, you can talk about Fiona Child's ethical commandments and things another time, maybe. That's very cool though. Good resource.
And you don't need to be like high horsey about it. Like we have a running joke going now where we kind of make fun of some of the sexist bullshit in our company. And especially in my current team, we're pretty okay having a joke about it. So it'll be like, oh, that was quite well done for a man. And we have this running gag going, like when people have this kind of comment, we'll sort of add comma for a dude.
Oh God, that's so good.
Very lightheartedly made us aware of when like our bias is showing. So it's
oh God, that's amazing.
And we've all been confronted with it, and it is never fun to sort of like, oh yeah, fucked up there. But then at least it has become sort of this good thing within the team that we're way more aware of it when we make these stupid statements.
Oh God,
like, you know, not because she's a woman or anything, but like I do think she's not quite on point on strategy. It's like, you know, you could have just left off the first half of that sentence, but having the space and safety to joke about it really does both help us learn and sort of change.
Because humor and kindness go a long way.
You know, you can have feedback and it not be crushing. It can be fun and lighthearted, or it can just be straight to your face, but at least it doesn't have to completely depress somebody into the next sort of millennium. Like you're never going to recover because you misgendered somebody once, like go die in a small dark corner somewhere. It can be a bit more gentle than that. Although some people.
All right. Cool. I'm going to round this off. So please, everyone, tell us one thing that you're taking out of today that you're going to do differently and where we can find you online. Shey, you start.
I'm going to do too differently is I'm going to look at how I can be better within my group. I have a multicultural group within work, and see how I assess myself and see how I'm doing against hopefully how their opinions are of me, and try and be a better person to them. It's aspirational, but you know, it's something that I try and do. So, and I'm going to keep on doing that. You can find me on Twitter still at Sheymouse, and Instagram and LinkedIn and everything like that. I'm either Sheymouse or just Shey Crompton. Come and find me, come and have a chat. We'd love to hear you.
All right. I'll go next. Why not? Shake things up a bit. I'm going to take Sanne's comment actually and see if I can use a bit more humor and a bit more kindness to get more people on board with this kind of topic. So less militancy, more smiling. You can maybe sort of find me on Twitter still. My account still exists. I'm the witch of the test. Otherwise, you can email me at verhagenveerle@gmail.com.
Did you just
or find
tell
me on LinkedIn.
yourself to smile more?
Well, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Sanne, your turn.
What I'm still working on and continuing to work on, I have a lot of people that I'm the people manager of now that are neurodiverse and still very much struggling with that and finding ways to talk and understand that whole spectrum. So that's where I'm still really putting a lot of my energy into lately. And of course, continuing the effort to never say you guys again. That's another one. You can find me by my new hashtag, TechSanitized, lately on LinkedIn.
Nice. Love it.
I love that hashtag, by the way. That's so cool.
Thank you.
Hanna?
Yeah, I also think I'll take, well, the same as Veerle as well, to take it with a bit more humor, but also try to think and stand up for, well, for people who might not want to themselves, or who are a bit afraid, who's been let down too many times by raising a point, to actually, well, raise their point and help them out. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search for Hanna Schlander and you'll find me. So,
and
Chris?
So, I think probably the thing I'm going to try and do is to try and talk more about those things that historically in my life were taboo. Because if we don't talk about things, how are we ever going to learn about things? If we just ignore them and suppress them, then we've got all kinds of other problems that happen. And that's not particularly healthy for me. I don't think that's healthy for the people that I interact with, be them at work or at home. So I'm going to try and be more open and questioning things, and hopefully as humble as I can be with those pieces. You can find me online by looking for anything that says Christovskia, mostly just kind of in lots of places. I joined Threads, but to be honest with you, I don't really care. But I'm there, so hooray! Yeah.
All right. Thanks to everyone who joined us today. Thanks for all the good chat. Hit us up on LinkedIn on our 9 out of 10 testers page. This is a topic that you can't possibly hope to cover in 40 minutes. So absolutely, if you've got interesting points to raise, if you want to call us out, if we said something that you feel is completely wrong and stupid, please let us know.
We can't learn and
educate us.
Yeah.
All right. See you again next month.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Right,
Bye.
Where's the off button? Hang on. Is it off? Right.
Are we there?
Is it off? Hang on.
Are we still live?
Okay.
Am I still smiling?